Hello and welcome to week 1 of our Grow Groups this season as we're talking about where is the joy. The incarnation of Christmas brings this great news and we want to live this joy of Christmas year round. But as the year starts, we're reminded of, well, that life is difficult and we still have all kinds of things to face every day. So here we are, we're going to dig into what it looks like to find joy, not necessarily happiness, but true joy in the midst of real life as we're facing it every day. Today, I'm joined by Janessa Aston. I almost said Smith. Congratulations again on your wedding.
Thank you. This is the first time I've been back on one of these since I am an Aston, not a Smith.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
It is.
All right, so Janessa is our Director of Student Ministries. We're so happy to have you. And we're going to be talking about the really fun topic today of stress.
Yay. Good.
Yay. So good. We've got our stress balls here if we need to
Yes. And they're like good stress balls.
They really are. And if you get lost and they're kind of a galaxy star vibe, you can just really go into a daze here. So that being said, what do you do to relax?
So I have a lot of slow hobbies. So I read a lot. So one of my goals in 2022 is to read 50 books. I did 57-ish this past year, so I'm confident in that. But I also do a lot of embroidery as well. So just slow hobbies that I can space out a little bit and let my mind wander while I'm doing it. Maybe not reading, but the cross stitching for sure.
Well, the reading focuses your mind, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't wander.
Yes.
Which is also really nice.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great. I love those too because I can see the progress.
Yes.
I'm taking a deep breath and relaxing, but I can see my embroidery growing or the book, I can see the progress I'm making.
Like the bookmark moving. I read a lot on my Kindle, so mine is more the percentage of how much book I've read. So it's you've read 25% of your book, or, you're at 75%. So seeing that number grow up, is awesome.
Yes, I'm doing the things.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I find, because I'm in school, so I end up reading for school a lot, I'll just hang out on the couch and just cuddle up with my cat.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yes, and just there's something, I think there's research behind it about petting an animal. It just really can calm you down and I'll really zone out there.
There's research behind the cat purr, the frequency of it is supposed to be healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll thank him.
Yeah.
Thanks baby, we're healing today.
Exactly.
I love it. We have some similar hobbies. It's really great.
Yeah.
Well then, so what is your experience with stress and how does it impact you?
I can tell I'm getting stressed out when I'm not sleeping.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the first sign that I'm stressed out. And then if it gets too bad and I don't catch I'm not sleeping well, I will then start having nightmares about whatever I'm stressed out about, which will then wake me up, which will then in turn make me the more sleep I get, the less stressed I am. So it's kind of a vicious cycle of, now you're not sleeping, so now you're more stressed, but you can't sleep because you're stressed. And so that's the main way it impacts me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I found that where you're just laying in bed wide awake.
Yep.
And then you're so stressed out, you're not sleeping.
Yep.
And then, it completely messes with your sleep cycle.
Yes.
So the next night's harder. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you found some cool methods to kind of wrestle with that and combat that?
The easiest one is melatonin. If
Nice.
I'm okay, I don't have any time to do any other thing, I'm just gonna take melatonin, sleep. But generally deep breathing exercises before bed or doing yoga before bed or something like that where I am again consciously slowing down.
Right.
Then that's when I'm okay, I can actually go to sleep again. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so true, though. Welcoming in something like melatonin is, as long as we're not becoming dependent on
Yes.
something else, it's really good to acknowledge it's okay to get some help.
Right.
Just a little outside resource there. I remember at one point, I was really struggling with sleep, and because my brain just goes
Yes, exactly.
all day, every day. And I downloaded one of those meditation apps.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one. I can't plug it. But that helped so much.
Yeah.
Because, that's Focus on relaxing your head, relaxing your shoulders, until
Yes.
my brain remembered all the words, and then it lost its work there.
Yeah, I think Calm is the one I've used before.
Yeah.
And it has just like, there's meditation, but there's also done like a breathing guide.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, so inhale for this long, hold it, and then exhale for this long. So like guides your deep breathing beforehand. So if you're like, I don't really know if I'm doing this right, that way you can see, oh, like I can follow something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something, too, you can use in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Like I heard a TV show say this week, I thought it was so cool. It was like, smell the flowers and blow out the candles. And I was like, that's something that if I'm in a stressful meeting, if I get some news that I wasn't expecting, if I'm just having a moment, I can smell the flowers and blow out the candles for just a few moments and feel that.
Also bubbles. Because like so I have like little bubble things in my desk because if you're not deep breathing enough, like you can't like form the bubbles.
Oh.
So that's like forces you to breathe out slowly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you get to play with bubbles.
Exactly. And then you just have the joy of the bubbles floating around your office. Like, what's wrong with that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go get some bubbles
There you
now.
go.
I really want. That's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that with us because I think we all experience stress differently.
Yes.
But it's important to learn our own warning signs and then how to address them.
Yes.
So this is kind of a tough question, and I hear it. But if Jesus were in your situation, how do you think he would handle the stress?
So one of my like favorite scriptures is in Luke 5, and like the story in like where it is, it like the verse is Luke 5:16. But the story before it is he had just healed someone with leprosy, and he was like, hey, don't tell anyone. But of course the person goes, tells everybody. So then like crowds are forming around Jesus. And so they're like, hey, heal me. Like, I want to hear from you. Heal me. And then verse 16 is, but Jesus would withdraw often to deserted places to pray. So like all of these like expectations were like coming at Jesus. Like these people were like, hey, I need your attention. I need you to do this. Like, please do this for me now. And he's like, let's wait. I'm going to go off by myself to pray.
Right.
Yeah. So like I think when in those situations for me, because like I'm a little introverted. So like those like Jesus would withdraw to the places to pray and like recharge. So that's what I think. And like what Jesus would tell me to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Like withdraw to the deserted places to pray.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Because I wrote that kind of thinking, not in like this crazy profound way of like make anyone feel bad, how Jesus would handle it better, but as an opportunity to remove yourself from the situation, which is exactly what you just said too. Sometimes it's just stepping back for a few moments and praying.
Yeah.
And even if we can't go to a deserted place, which would be so nice sometimes,
Yeah.
stare at the stars.
Yeah. Even if it's just like in your own office or like going to like the bathroom or whatever, just like removing yourself from people or the situation.
Right.
Even if there are people like still like around you, but like you being by yourself to just like center yourself, do some breathing, like a breath prayer or something. To just withdraw and like recharge a little bit.
Absolutely. And looking for the joy in the moment, like what things can bring you peace in those things. So like I keep the stress balls in my office. So if I do need something to play with or to throw, I find joy and end up giggling, or bubbles.
Yep.
Just going outside and breathing some fresh air. Oh my gosh, that can really help us just recenter and find that creation.
Right.
Like Jesus would step away, and that's really cool. So finally, how can you find joy in the middle of your stress?
So this one, like when you sent me these questions, kind of stumped me because I was like, but like the obvious answer is the joy happens when the stress is gone, right? Like,
Sure. I just never assume mine will end.
yeah, same. So I was like, but like I feel like I'm always stressed out. So like, where is the joy in the midst of the stress, not just when the stress is gone?
Right.
So we were talking earlier, and what you said, like, just perfect, was like in the little things. Like, I can be stressed out about this whole situation, but I can find joy in like, oh, there's like a flower outside, or like I can find joy in reading, or like completing one part of my embroidery project or something like that. Or like a conversation with a friend or whatever that is. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we have to look for it sometimes.
Yes.
And I think that's the challenge. It's a mindset thing, and I think we've been talking
Yeah.
about that a lot in this series, and we'll continue to, that it's a matter of looking for it.
Right.
Because I get really downhearted because I'm like, I don't know if it'll ever end.
Right. Which then adds more stress because you're like,
Yeah.
well, my stress will never end.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
stuck here. And so instead it's, okay, hard pause, and then where can I find something fun, whether
Yeah.
it be, I'm still stuck on the bubbles.
It's just a good, joyful thing to have in your office.
I have the stacking dinosaurs. I don't know if you've seen the ads on like Facebook where you have to balance them because it gives me something to focus on.
Yep.
And even when they fall, I'm like, there's dinosaurs
And they're
on my
like
desk.
bright and colorful and fun looking. They're not just like, oh, here's a like random boring block that I'm stacking. Or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
Looking for something silly in the
Yeah.
middle of everything. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being a part of this, Janessa. I hope
no
it didn't
problem.
stress you out. I hope you found joy in this experience.
I did. I always enjoy talking to you and getting to hang out with the Grow groups as well.
Yes, they're so great. We have such a great community here. We hope this was a time of joy filled for you and your groups, and to kind of talk about your stress and different ways to learn from one another and your own ways to cope with stress and find joy in the little things. So blessings over your conversation, and we'll see you next week.